What is the stupidest thing that has come out of your mouth that you're willing to admit to? A guy got in the elevator pushing a double stroller. In one half of the stroller was the tiniest little newborn baby I've ever seen in my life. The other half was covered with a baby blanket. I wondered if he had newborn twins, or if he had one newborn and one toddler. Unfortunately, what came out of my mouth was, are they both the same kind? I am so glad I scrolled down this far. This one has made me laugh the hardest. In Paris, I said bon noir to a black man who had just made me a crepe. It was nighttime and I was just trying to say goodnight. One morning, after another sleepless night, I had episodes of insomnia when I was in my young 20s. I went to work by train. There were sliding doors between the cars and exits. The door in my car was actually open, so I slid it shut, then walked headfirst into it. Hurt like heck. Took me a while to fully grasp the scope of my stupidity. Other passengers were, understandably, perplexed and looked at me like there was something really wrong and dangerous about me. I said, "It's okay. He's fine." When my dad and brother were in London for 4th of July, I remember saying, "I bet their 4th of July fireworks are insane." My sister just looked at me like, "You're all freaking moron." This one time I thought the 4th was Tuesday, but it was a Wednesday, so when my brother told me that, I told him the 4th is on the 5th. Me when I was 17 getting pulled over. "Officer, so, you weren't wearing your seatbelt, right?" Wink. Me. "I was wearing my seatbelt, but I was speeding." "Officer, I'm going to try this one more time. I didn't see you wearing your seatbelt," which is not a moving violation, as opposed to speeding, which is. Understood? Me. Number. "I was wearing my seatbelt." "Officer. Officer, okay, you were speeding. Here's your ticket." My parents. "You may be honest, but by God, how the frick did we raise such an idiot?" I was going for a job interview once. As we shook hands, the interviewer told me her name. I then introduced myself also using her name. Her name is not my name. It was embarrassing, but I still got the job. And just for clarification, I am also a woman, so it's not like my name is Jim and I introduced myself as Lisa, although that would be funny. While riding in the car with a friend, "I kind of have to poop." Me. "But I just went." I meant every bit of it, and it took me almost 10 seconds of my friend laughing for me to realize what happened. I woke up from a deep sleep and had to pee really bad, but saw the bathroom door was closed. I knew it was only me and my dad home, so I ran downstairs, found him in the living room and yelled, "Are you in the bathroom?" He slowly shook his head and I ran back upstairs. I woke up later and remembered. Embarrassment followed. I think your head would have exploded had he said yes. A week after getting my first car, I asked my father if the expiration sticker on the license plate meant that the car wouldn't be good anymore after that date. I was 17. Cars, milk cartons, pretty much the same thing. Do you think there's enough steel in the world to build the Eiffel Tower? Context. Was a little drunk with a few friends and someone said there wasn't enough gold in the world to make the base of the tower, so without thinking dropped that on them. This could have been turned around towards that person as sarcasm. Like, as if there isn't that much gold. Of course there's that much gold to make a base for the tower. Crossing the border back into America from Mexico, sweating bullets because all my paperwork and it got stolen, and a border guard says, "Everybody in here American?" I reply, "Si senor." I once argued vehemently with my friend that the word ambiguous meant very. The ambiguously gay duo made so much more sense after I was set straight. Context. Kindergarten teacher supervising my students serving themselves snack. One student picks up the tongs and asks me what men are grapes. Without pausing or thinking, I reply, "4 men. This may or may not have happened today." I have adopted 3 kids whose first language wasn't English. I find myself dragged down to their level all the time. "Kid, I haven't got it my snack yet." Me. "You got it 10 minutes ago. I saw you." After realizing that the clock app icon on the iPhone was actually keeping correct time after an update, the clock tells you what time it is. Holy crap. IT moves. In high school's one of my first parties, I was drinking rather fast. being inexperienced, and being a general dumb teenager. Fast forward a couple hours and I'm making out with a chick on a bed. She's super into it. She whispers in a frickin' sultry butt voice we should frick. Now, I was a virgin and I didn't want to get it in and finish in a couple seconds, and I'd heard about how booze makes you last longer. My thought process was that I could put off the sexies, go have a couple more drinks with her, then get back to the room and bang for hours. I didn't realize how drunk I was, because all that came out of my mouth while I looked this frisky girl in the eyes was, wait, I need to be more drunk for that. I didn't get laid for over a year and a half after that. LOL. My jaw dropped reading that. That poor girl. I am half Hispanic, half white, but could pass for black. I was adopted by a German-Irish mother and a Russian-Jewish father. Read. Extremely white people. One day as a teenager I absent-mindedly asked my mother, did you and dad ever think about not telling me I was adopted? The look of sheer disappointment followed by obnoxious laughter told me everything I needed to know. Or, he really is that stupid. On a road trip in Central California I pointed at a herd of cows and yelled, horses. My boyfriend was quiet for a minute, and then, those are definitely cows. A moment I'm mortified to remember. Talking to an older Asian co-worker when I was 18 about shoes, and she mentioned that her husband was hard to shop for because he wore a large size. I said, surprised, wow, that's a pretty big size. To which she replied, well, he's 6'3". And I said, that's pretty tall for an Asian guy. To which she, of course, replied, well, he's black. Glares silently while I mumble and bumble to apologize. Whoa, he is pretty black for an Asian guy. Not me, but a guy friend. We were paying at Chipotle. Employee, you two together? Friend, laughs awkwardly, no, we're just friends. Me, he meant the order. Jesus. He wants something more. May as well go for it. As a freshman in high school, I was selected to give a speech to the local Rotary Club on my vision of the future. Really big event to a 14-year-old. There were 100 or so people and a fancy dinner. Anyway, I got nervous during my speech, got distracted looking at my note cards and blurted out, we will live in a future where people are judged on the color of their skin and not the content of their character. I played high school hockey, and after beating one of our rivals I was so full of adrenaline that while going into our locker room, which was right next to the other teams, I yelled, we just sucked your dongs. I was never good at trash talking. I'm sure your team let you off easy. I was on hold with my doctor's office, and during the hold, it was all these advertisements for their new birthing suites, prenatal center, and bipolar Zortovas. I was on hold for about 3 minutes listening to this on repeat, and then all of a sudden the receptionist picks up with name and date of birth. Please. My name is Tubanonster, last name and I'm not pregnant. Did I call the wrong number? This is name of place. That's where I meant to call. I need to set up an appointment. Okay, Tubanonster, can I get your date of birth? I'm not expecting. I can tell by the way she spoke the next questions that she didn't think English was my native language. And in retrospect I don't blame her. Your birthday. The day you were born. Oh crap. I'm sorry. 12/XX/87. In my defense, I had mono and I was really freaking tired. I think that's called priming. After seeing images related to pregnancy, your mind was primed to think about questions you were asked in that context. Don't blame yourself, blame psychology. At the store I work at, we require a government-issued photo ID for returns. This is in a college town, so a lot of customers are international students and use passports. A customer came in with a return and used his passport from Korea. I asked him if it was north or south, and it took me at least 20 seconds to realize why he was staring at me like I was an absolute idiot. Clearly, best. Recently buying something and was asked if I had a student card for discount. I passed it over and they immediately lowered the price. Then I blurted out that card's actually out of date and had the price raised. I have no idea why I said it. My wife said I have something exciting to share with you. I felt her belly. Yes, they're calling for more snow tonight. Wait, you thought I was pregnant? And here's where I really mess up. It would have explained a lot. It seemed funny at the time, but I guess that's just me. Source. Posting this from the couch. LOL fundamental mistake. I was in Lush soap store getting Christmas presents for my 2 sisters. Shop attendant. So, who are the gifts for? Me. My sisters. Shop attendant. Okay, what size? Me. Thinks for a moment. They're about 5FT2 and 5FT4. Shop attendant. I meant the presents. To be fair, Lush is pretty strange if you haven't been to the store much. I had a craving for fries, so I went through the McDonald's drive-thru. The fries weren't ready, so they had me park in the waiting lot until fresh fries fried. After a bit, the girl comes out with a bag and asked me what kind of fries I had ordered. I looked at her dumbfounded and said French, like this was either a trick question or MCD's now served up curly fries and I didn't know about it. She was asking size. Spanish fries please. What if yelling at a vagina was pleasurable? We were talking about sound and vibrations and that gem popped into my head. That's such a Gavin-free thing to say. My friend punched me in the chest at a party and I screamed ow. That was my scrotum, I meant sternum. I am a female and obviously don't have a scrotum. When I was at my first day at junior school, age 12, I was called to the front of an assembly in front of the entire school to talk about my first day and what it had been like. I was really into what we in the UK call American football, and me and a few new friends had been learning how to play the terminology and having a great time with it. I had realized I was pretty good at kicking the ball a long distance, so I elected to tell the principal of the school how good I was at punting. Except I was nervous and overcompensating, so I didn't get the words right. What I actually said was, I am really good at cunting it. My friends and I were at the park when we saw this small little mini cars that children could drive around. They were pretty cool. Me. Hey, those cars look really cute. Imagine if they could rent out adult versions for us. Friend, yes they do. They call it a car. To be fair, that doesn't sound all that stupid. Although renting a car wouldn't be the same as a small mini toy car is. Try a go-kart. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. For years, I'm talking up to 2 years ago. I'm 26. I thought that was Jesus' full name, and that's why people yell angrily say it. It wasn't until my wife corrected me and just laughed. God really wanted a daughter. In the middle of an exam, the teacher caught me comparing answers with my friend. You too. Stop that right now, said the teacher, and what came out of my mouth was wait just a second. We're almost done. I was eating some delicious corn chips and some delicious potatoes. I wonder if anybody has ever tried to make chips out of potatoes. My girlfriend smacked her head into the table so hard it bruised a little. My housemate couldn't remember the name for avocados, so proceeded to refer to it as pre-guac. It's kind of stuck now. Me and my dad convinced my little cousin to call bread raw toast. This cute girl had a crush on me. We were sharing a pack of Twinkies. She says, I probably look so fat stuffing this Twinkie in my mouth. I intended to reassure her that she has no reason to think she is fat. So I said, look, you aren't as fat as you think you are. She cried. I tried to explain it. It didn't work. She never spoke to me again. Complete sober and clean of any substances or drugs. At the drive-thru of a Krispy Kreme. Employee, hello, may I take your order? Me, in the most distressed, confused voice possible, where are you? My friends that were in the car still make fun of me for it. I'm a teacher. During state testing we go lax on the kids and sometimes watch movies in the afternoon. We were watching Happy Feet, which I'd never seen before. The scene where the penguin wakes up in the zoo and walks into the glass. Oh my god, is this a true story? That poor penguin. The teacher sitting next to me fell out of her chair laughing. Hey mom, in order to save trees, why don't we just make copies of paper? I used to speak before I thought in my youth. Still do tbh. My so still makes fun of me for this. When we were quite early into our relationship, I was half awake one morning and said to him, so I have this great business idea. It's like McDonald's, but with puppies. You go in and you order which puppy you'd like to play with for a certain amount of time, and then you get it. I'd call it fast puppies. Like fast food, but not food. Fast puppies. Whenever I call him out for saying something stupid, he just looks at me and says fast puppies. Total shutdown. This sounds like a great idea. In fact, I think Japan has this already. When I was in high school I had a crush on a girl. She was talking to her friends about the stupidity of psychic phone lines. I just don't know how bored you'd have to be to call one of those. It's like there are so many other things you could spend money on. I wanted to sound cool, so I butted in. That's why they have party lines. It did not come off sounding cool or smart. She just stared at me with a what look on her face. It's one of those things that made all the sense in the world in my head and just sounded idiotic when it came out. I cringed so hard picturing this. One time a waiter asked me what I wanted to order and I panicked and just yelled no. Whole family thinks I'm autistic because of it. One time the waiter asked if I wanted 2 checks or 1 and in front of my girlfriend I went check, they both just stared at me. I had to go pee in this porta john. And when I walked in I thought freaking Christ, why does it reek of pee? Not just it reeks of pee, but why? Why does the place I'm about to pee smell like pee? Back when I was in 8th grade, maybe 7th, someone told me to shut the heck up and the best thing I could think of was up. How? With a giant ice cube. My friend who was with me and the guys who told me to do that were both like WTF. Needless to say I was thoroughly embarrassed, lol. What the frick though? Really? I'd never forget that. Yay, he's not black. First words out of my mouth when my first child was born. Should also mention that the delivering obstetrician was black, as was one of the nurses. I seem to handle stressful situations by saying stupid crap. I once got held up and told the robber, good thing you didn't look in my shoe, after he made me hand over my backpack and was starting to leave. He then stole my freaking shoes. I had nothing in my shoes. There are actually people with black skin. They're not some kind of alien or have some sort of disease. I was 8 and we have very few black people in my country. Not all that relevant, but there are more or less no black people where I grew up. We had a man come to do a presentation about something or other at our primary school. He was black. The teachers told us all not to be surprised or shocked at his black skin and not to be rude about it. For some reason I was annoyed when I realized we had been misinformed and his skin was actually brown. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.